This is the All Things Nerd Podcast, Season 3, Episode 29. You might be going, wait, but was it Episode 29 last week? It was, but we had some difficulties, so this is Episode 29, Part 2.
Point two.
Point 2?
I believe
Point
it's
two.
part 2.
Part 2.0. 2.0. Yeah, so this is the podcast about everything going on with geek, nerd, and pop culture. This week, the focus is San Diego Comic-Con 2019. It is our farewell to this year's Comic-Con and talking about all the big news that came out of Comic-Con.
Wait,
So,
when did Comic-Con happen?
it happened a week ago. Happened a week ago. It's gonna happen in a year from now. With that, here's the intro. Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. This is, did I say aficionados?
I mean, now you did.
At least IC Zero didn't screw you up.
Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. This is Mess 5150 back with another All Things Nerd podcast brought to you by Malice-Corp.com. That's the website where you can check out All Things Nerd, or you can look us up on Stitcher, Spotify, Google, anywhere that you can listen to podcasts, or check us out over on youtube.com on the Malice Corp channel. Thank you for joining us here live on Twitch every Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is Season 3, Episode 29. Thank you for rejoining us. You have me, as always, not always, but generally, your host, Mess5150 on the cast. I also have two other gentlemen, I guess we can call them gentlemen, with us this week on the cast. IC Zorro joins us on the cast. How are you, sir?
What's up? I'm going to require you to call me Esquire now. But that's just purely out of homage to Bill S. Preston Esquire.
Ah, okay. And our Theodore Logan is Masonic Vader. How are you, sir?
Dude, she's my mom. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Prom?
Dude, knock it off.
What number am I thinking of right now?
69, dude.
Yes. The jokes that made even more sense as we got older.
Yes, exactly. Like, I don't understand. Yeah, so that's who's on the cast here with us this week. It's just the three of us. So thank you guys for coming back and joining us for the cast. This week, we're going to dive into all the big news from San Diego Comic-Con. But as we like to do, we like to talk about what we've been geeking out on for the last week. So this is your Get Your Geek On.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
My geek out was Comic-Con. That's really what it was. And for this last week since Comic-Con, it has been working for you fine people to let you see everything that I saw at Comic-Con. So if you head over to the YouTube channel for Malice Corp, there's panels going up like crazy over there. I think there's 5 of them up so far. We have the Terminator Top Gun Surprise, and Fear the Walking Dead is getting ready to go up on there. The Russo brothers.
Top Gun Surprise sounds like an amazing casserole.
I know. That's what I thought too when I said that. I was waiting for somebody to jump on it. But yeah, a lot of podcasts over there, a lot of panels from Hall H over there. So if you guys want to see the panels, head over to youtube.com/Malice Corp or /C/Malice Corp, or they're going to pop up here on the Twitch channel eventually as well. So that's me. I see. What have you been geeking out on for the last week?
Actually, a lot of different stuff. I have started a reread of the Wheel of Time series because it's been a long time since I've read them. In fact, probably since it finished, like 7 or 8 years ago. Started watching Barry because everybody kept saying how great it was. So I'm about halfway through the first season of that. It's great. And today, kid's still off for school and he's been bored all week. So I finally had a day off. And we watched some of the movies that are now going to be considered prequels to stuff that we saw trailers for from Comic-Con. So today I sat down with the boy and watched Top Gun and Zombieland. Still hilarious movie. Zombieland stands up.
Yes, it does. I need to go back and watch it now that the trailer came out for the sequel. Yeah. So
and Top Gun, Tom Cruise looks crazy young. I think he was like 25 at the time. Also, couldn't stop looking at his teeth. His teeth are weird.
That's what we get. I just snorted. His Tom Cruise's teeth. There's many more weird things about Tom Cruise besides his teeth. I mean,
well, as it turns out, Scientology not big on dentistry either. I don't know.
Who knows? Masonic, what have you been geeking out on?
Sleep after walking 15 miles through that thing, man. I was, I got 2 days on my multi-pass from Zorg Industries. I had a lot of fun at Comic-Con, and for someone who didn't get to go into panels, man, we found a lot of stuff to do with my son. But it made me now nostalgic as well, because I saw some stuff that's in the pipeline too that could be happening. So my son and I, we are halfway through The Last Starfighter, which, good God, man, computer graphics back then.
I know. I wanted to watch with the boy today, but I put it off till next time.
Yeah, and then we were going to watch The Rocketeer, but the only version of that I have is in DVD, regular DVD, and it looked horrible on a 4K TV. So I'm going to have to buy that one and watch The Rocketeer with him as well. So, but you've never seen The Rocketeer?
No, I have. I don't want to say anything about buying media.
Okay. That's about it.
You can probably stream it through Amazon, right? Through the link on our page.
Yeah, it's not free.
No. Okay. This is weird. I was trying to send a tweet out about that we're live because there's only a couple people viewing right now.
Yeah, the Smack Talk guys did their job. Yeah.
And I'm used to like having like 3 to 4 people talking about what they're geeking out on to give me some time, but these two just like, I'm just trying to get sleep, and the other one's just like,
Dude, seriously,
I had like 4
15
things.
miles in 2 days. You guys are sitting nice in your Hall H doing the little bathroom pass shuffle and stuff. My kid and I are walking 15 miles.
Did they make you take like the full hubcap, like at gas stations bathroom pass? Like
no, it's a little piece of paper, but you got to be back by the time that it's that's on it. Otherwise, you don't get back into Hall H, and you got to go back out and stand out in line, even if your stuff is inside the hall.
Surprised they don't put like a shock collar on you, like, and time.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't do the bathroom pass shuffle because I'm actually in there recording everything for the fine Geek Enthusiast and Nerd.
Yeah, just cathetering up real good.
I was about to say you're wearing a catheter, right? All right.
No, there's a bathroom inside Hall H. It's just it's
your soda bottle doesn't count, dude.
NASA depends and stuff,
Well, okay. Speaking of the bathroom inside Hall H, this isn't one of the things that we're going to talk about. Actually, you know what? I might squeeze it in later, so we'll hold on to that for a second.
For later.
Exactly.
Smarter squeezing it out than squeezing it in.
This is where we're going to go to our main portion of this show. This is the nerd news. Okay, so we're not going into headlines so much as what happened at San Diego Comic-Con, all the big stuff that came out, reveal wise, news wise, so on and so forth. And we're just gonna react. We're gonna talk about them and give our thoughts on the stuff that we saw. So first and foremost, I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but we didn't have any sound.
Yeah, they were reading our lips.
Yeah.
It was great.
So
we're getting all these gorgeous panoramic shots from Super's phone, and yeah, it was just nothing.
The first big news that came out of Comic-Con last week was during the Terminator panel. As it ended, Tom Cruise took the stage and gave us the Top Gun Maverick, not Top Gun 2, Top Gun Maverick trailer. And what'd you guys think?
Yes, looked so good. Yeah, so I rewatched the trailer right after the boy and I finished watching Top Gun today, and I was like watching Tom Cruise age 30 years in a minute.
Which really to normal people look like 10.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Everywhere from Ed Harris being a 2-star admiral in there to, I believe Miles Teller is going to be playing Brad Bradshaw, Goose's son, which that's an unfortunate naming. But like there were so many callbacks to the original movie. There's little clips of people singing in a bar, and I double checked. That is not footage from the old movie. That is new footage. There seems to be a female pilot in there, which is rad. Yeah, I loved everything about the trailer. It looks amazing.
Yeah, so as an added bonus from last week's conversation about it, I did some checking in on it and stuff. The Tom Cruise motorcycle scene you see in there, that's Tom Cruise on the road going about 80 on the tarmac.
Helmetless.
Yes. Yeah, that's Tom Cruise. The other thing is we had a discussion about the scenes where he's in the jet.
Yeah, because to me it really looked like they actually have him flying a plane.
So here's what it was. Part of him being in Top Gun was the fact that he needed to be in a jet this time. And so, like I was suggesting when we were talking about last week, he is in a jet. All those scenes are jet wise. He is just the second seat back.
Mm-hmm.
But they were able to angle and film it to a way where it made it look like it was a single seat jet. Okay. He was the pilot, but he is physically in that jet.
Yeah, he actually. Because this is the first panel that I edited to put up onto the channel to watch, and re-listening to it. That's the first thing he stresses, is that we wanted to make this real. Everything that's happening, this is happening. It's not, it's not camera effects.
So that shot where there's the 3 planes coming through and, in low over a lake through some hills and all hitting that, that sound barrier burst at the same time. That's actually 3 planes flying that?
That's what he said. He said everything in this is real. Everything is they didn't want to do a bunch of, it's what he's done with Mission Impossible for the last, 10 years now is all those stunts, all that stuff.
20 plus.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool too, because in the original Top Gun, they didn't use cameras or anything as well. That was real live footage that they used. Either, I don't know if they filmed it necessarily for the movie. I think they maybe used some kind of stock footage or something, but that was all legit flying and everything. Mm-hmm. So
I think it was all filmed for the movie. I remember hearing a story about how Tony Scott had to write a $35,000 check to turn the Enterprise around to get the right angle. They were like, "Do you know how much that's going to cost us in gas?" And he was like, "I got it." Jack and I was telling us that it was all filmed specifically for that movie. Some of the aerial stuff in the trailer for the new one looks like cutscenes straight out of Ace Combat. Like, that is some impressive, beautiful shots.
It's a bunch of it's just all the Blue Angels flying through.
Now, I also read in here too that they had one specific pilot for all of his for all the stuff he was doing in that movie, and apparently, I believe that pilot is also in the movie as well. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. So, I mean,
well, that is currently Tom Cruise's host. Tom Cruise is a Quado on his body now.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
So we're all excited. Okay, so one of my friends who's been a diehard Top Gun fan for forever. Like, it's one of his favorite movies of all time. He hadn't seen the trailer yet. He watched it when I told him what happened, and he's like, "I'm gonna watch it right now." And he watched it, and he's like, "Yes, please, I'm in." He said IMAX.
Yes.
What do you guys think if we got that on IMAX?
Absolutely, I would. I remember when Top Gun came out. There's a little bit more to Top Gun for me because my father was actually stationed at Miramar at the time the movie was filmed, and they did use some of his squadron for the movie because back then they had the F-14 still going and stuff. So there's a little bit of a personal tie with that, which is cool. And they said it at Comic-Con. This has been a movie that, like, literally San Diego's been waiting on doing for a long time. And after seeing that trailer, good God, heck yeah, I'd want to be in IMAX. I'd be the closest I get to it.
I want to have it in like Oculus Rift. I want to strap that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Just completely experience it.
And,
so we got
our producer feels that we are not helping out other names with IMAX, that there should be an iJohn and an iKen and an iIan and iMest. So
yeah.
Well, iMest sounds bad.
Personal note for me too is that I have said for a long, long time, Top Gun is tied for my favorite movie of all time. It's that and Grosse Pointe Blank, and I indirectly
love Grosse Pointe Blank.
Having joined the Navy in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a funny thing because he brought up the fact that they filmed the first movie 30 years ago in San Diego, and the bar scene, the
Kansas City barbecue.
Kansas City barbecue. Yeah, that's where it was filmed at, and that's what I knew it as. And the funniest thing was, was I on the shuttle on the way back to the hotel, and somebody's in the back is like, "Ooh, look, a Kansas City barbecue." It's like, no, I read the reviews. It's apparently terrible. Like nobody's talking about the fact that that's where Top Gun filmed this.
Oh yeah, the food's not great. And if you go in that bar, the walls and ceiling, or at least last time I was there, all covered in bras. Not sure why. I don't know if they're trying to say all those bras came off in that bar or what, but
It's when they watched the volleyball scene. The bras just flew off.
like, ooh, beach volleyball and jeans. Let's get it going.
Which that's the scary part is if you got an Oculus Rift on the film, that means you have to watch the volleyball scene in Oculus Rift as well.
It was fun watching it today with the kid and being like, oh, by the way, I lived there for a long time. That there's that restaurant I've eaten there. The scene where, you know, she pulls up next to him.
Is there a cat in heat and behind some?
He won't stop yelling. I was like, oh yeah, I know. There's a good brunch spot around the corner there.
Yeah, and as an added bonus, as he's stepped away, yeah, the house is still around. They just moved the house, unfortunately. So the house they used for the love scenes and blah blah blah, that was out in Oceanside. It's still around, but they moved the location. I don't know where it's at now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next. So this bit of news dropped right before Comic-Con, and I mean it wasn't so much news as it was like, here, look, we got merchandise, and that was the little bit of Star Wars stuff that we got. They introduced the Sith Trooper from Rise of Skywalker, which is a red.
It's from the last movies. They just put red on there.
Yeah. Looks just like the stormtroopers from the episode. Was it
7 and 8, dude?
7 and 8, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but just red. Yeah,
Episode's most recent words.
but they're calling these the Sith Trooper, the red ones. So
yeah.
I mean, JJ has pretty much made it abundantly clear that he's going to give like cool looking things. I mean, with Captain Phasma, but is that what it's going to be? Is it just going to be like two Sith Troopers walk through the camera scene and it's like, cool, we got a merchandising opportunity?
That's about how well they used Captain Phasma. So yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do with it because you have Kylo Ren supposedly taking over the New Order, and it looks like, you know, we're going to be getting some Knights of Ren eventually, and so I'm hoping that they use these Sith Troopers a little bit differently than they did with Phasma, because there's a lot of hype behind him. I mean, my kid loved it. He's a big Stormtrooper fan.
Jack brings up the Gwendolyn Christie got pretty much just she got Boba Fetted is what she did. Like no long,
yeah, for sure,
minimal lines for, you know, not doing anything really cool on screen.
Like her Hunger Games appearance. It was there for 5 minutes and gone.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, in episode 8, wasn't there, if I remember correctly, like there was that amazing fight sequence with Kylo and Rey and like Imperial guards in the blood red armor.
No, yeah, well, yeah, they were. I actually thought the Captain Phasma and the Finn fight was actually really good too. I wish they could have did more with that. I hope they don't end her off. I hope that somehow she comes back, pulls it.
No, she's gone. She's gone.
Yeah, she's dead and gone.
She fell down a big old hole.
Darth Maul was dead. Now he's half robotic. Come on.
Yeah, the cartoon figured that one out. So,
well, damn it. Well, they rolled within.
trying to open up this.
I'd be willing for Ray Park to come back and do anything.
Anything.
That's going to be a different one.
Pretty much.
That's going to be a different topic later on.
So that was the only bit of Star Wars news that we really got. Let's move on to the other thing that happened we had two things that happened on Friday. First up, Witcher trailer. So we finally saw footage for the Witcher television show. Did you guys watch the trailer?
I did.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think?
So I have not read the Witcher books. I've played a little bit of the game. It looked good. I have a hard time separating their Superman, but he looked good. Henry Cavill looks solid in that, man. I'm actually going to look forward to seeing that series and see what they do with it.
I think Super said it best, and I believe this was on something that didn't make it through last week. She said he looks like Superman had a baby with Legolas. Yeah, basically.
Oh, this is how she said it. She went like this. Oh, that's right. We had no sound, so we couldn't hear.
Oh,
No, the week
that was
before
great for the audio
when we
version.
first got the visuals, the screenshots is when she said that. So they actually
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't read the books, I haven't played the games, but the production quality looks high. Henry Cavill is super talented. That trailer made me want to watch the show, and I don't know almost anything about it.
So I saw the trailer first. That's the first thing they showed us, and it looks good. And then they showed us some footage, and there was one. Hold on, my eye is watering. There was one scene they showed us where it's him and some other creature guy fighting in a like a chamber, like a throne chamber, and it looked really hokey and really cheesy. And all of a sudden I was like, oh no, this is I'm not too excited with this. But then they showed us more in depth of the other characters, the two female characters, and it looked really good. And so I'm like, okay, it looks good. Everybody that I talked to after the panel that had watched the panel was like, I can't get past. He's always got something weird going on with him, Henry Cavill, and his hair. They can't get past how weird the hair, his white hair looks on him. That it just doesn't fit. It doesn't look right.
Well, at least they have it on his head and not try to wipe it out with CGI.
Well, I mean, what we were bringing up was with the mustache. You know, now it's this weird, funky white hair that it just doesn't. You could tell it's a wig because it doesn't like sway properly or anything. It's just there.
He slapped a mop on his head. Yeah, I don't know. I never watched the Henry Cavill Superman movies enough to have him just ingrained in my head as Superman. So I don't know.
I mean, I've seen him in other. I watched him in The Tudors, and he was
good in Mission Impossible, which screwed up Justice League. But, you know, yeah.
I didn't see that one yet. So
yeah, he was good in that one. Good fight scene.
And that's exactly. So that's the people I was talking to. They're like, there's always something with him. There's the mustache thing with him in Justice League, and there's this hair in Witcher, and then Mission Impossible. Even though they hadn't seen the movie, all they kept thinking of was in the trailer the arm where he like pops his arm like every single time in the trailer.
Shirt straight, so you just can't take your time rolling. He's got to flex those muscles to get it in there, dude.
Well, that's the thing is the guy's usually massive, and even he's still ripped when he came to Hall H this year. But the first year when he was there for Man of Steel, it looked like if he coughed, his shirt was gonna just fly off of him because that's how tight, you know. And he's gone down a little bit.
So, tight like a tiger.
Shredding tweet.
Tweet. Oh God, I don't know why.
Which I know this isn't part of it, but man, I hope you guys saw that article that he says he's expressed that he wants to come back for Superman.
Pete says, "Is Witcher's mom also named Martha?" So, I mean, it looks good. I'm expecting it to do well. We'll find out. And yeah, he said he's never said he didn't want to do Superman again. He's been saying it since they first announced that he wasn't doing it anymore. They're rolling on with Superwoman, that is Supergirl, whatever. That they said that's the way that they're going with this. But we'll see what JJ decides to do. So now he's got his $500 million from Warner Brothers. All right, moving on.
Ooh.
Next SDCC stuff. Let's see. Let's talk Walking Dead really quick. I wanted to get the ideas, what you guys thought about this. I know Masonic, you don't watch Walking Dead.
Well, I just haven't. I kind of lost myself. I think season 5.5, where they were at that one savior place or something before the baseball bat guy. However, I know what happens with Rick, so I'd be interested to see what happens with this movie.
Well, and that was the interesting thing about it. So they did the whole panel with it, and at the end of it, Chris Hardwick's like, okay, so we've got something that we need to show you guys, just a little quick thing. And they roll this little teaser trailer, and it just shows a city landscape.
It was nothing. It was garbage.
Yeah, but it was still big because it was speculation for this longest time for the Rick movies. Like, okay, they're going to put them on AMC. You know, we're going to get these TV movies. No,
I just want to see how this Rick interacts with Morty.
Well, no, I mean, so this is the big announcement was that these are going to theater. These are not AMC films. These are, I mean, they're AMC produced, but they're going to theater. They're not going to the television channel. And that, I think, is huge, because now what you can do with this universe in terms of not having the crutches of not stepping over the boundaries too much in terms of gore or language or adult content. I think we can get a really amazing Walking Dead set of films.
Absolutely.
Now, do they go back and tell individual stories from throughout the seasons? Do they carry on? Does he somehow survive? I don't know how he dies, but whatever.
No, he didn't die.
He didn't die.
He's not dead.
Oh, I thought he died.
Huh, that's why they
never
showed the
mind.
helicopter. The helicopter rescued him. So
Yeah, once again, haven't seen it, but all right.
I know. That's why I was like, and that's the thing is, do you think they leave it open enough that this can create a launching point to get people to come back and watch the TV show, or is it just going to be like you're going to be completely lost?
Yeah, that's
You have to watch. You have to watch it, I think, to get where the movie is.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
releasing a movie to theaters that's based on almost nearly 10 full seasons of a TV show. Nobody's going to jump into that with no background knowledge. You can't. Which actually kind of makes me a little bit worried about it. Like I agree that they're going to have so much more opportunity, and they can make it a little more realistic once you take off conventional, even cable TV, standards and practices regulations. But like, what if the first one does poorly? What if they produce it for $20 million and do another $5 million in advertising, and then it ends up making like $3 million overall? Do they then make the other two films that they already said they're going to make? Because at that point, it's costing them a lot of money for nothing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, then at that point, maybe they just go put the other two on TV only.
I would hope. Yeah.
I would just be interested to see, like I said, where they take the storyline, because I think interesting things about the series as a whole is that it's got a great story. You get a lot of great characters. You see them come and go. I mean, it's one of those few series that somebody's never a red shirt. Everyone who dies in there, so they remember them from one reason or another. Mm-hmm. It's a unique kind of television series that I noticed in the 5 years. Like, you see people come and go, but you always remember them. And there's new people popping in and taking their place and not dropping the baton in a sense. So it's interesting, because now if you go from television to movies, you're going to go from a season every year to a movie every 2 years. Who do you bring back? Where do you put it? Do you continue? Do you go back and do offshoot stories? I don't know. I'm kind of
so at this point with the Walking Dead universe on TV, just on AMC, they break up the main show into half seasons and stagger them across the year, and then they take Fear the Walking Dead and they break those up into half seasons and stagger them on the other sides of those. Plus, there's a third show that's going to be starting of younger kids that basically have grown up in the zombie apocalypse. So there's always, I mean, at this point, AMC has set itself up to always have Walking Dead of some sort or another on. So I think, with the Rick offshoot, we're just kind of, those of us that are still watching the show are just hoping for closure on what the hell happened to Rick.
Oh, there's definitely going to be that. I think that'll happen for sure. I mean, Kirkman made jokes of the 10 series that they're working on. He kept joking about it, and he's like, 10. So,
Kirkman's hilarious.
And Gimbal brought up that series that you're talking about for what it is they're expanding out into the world more, and they've now shown you that there's societies out there where people are living properly, and it's going to be these people that grew up after the zombie apocalypse but haven't actually interacted with zombies, haven't dealt with zombies, haven't anything, and they're going to decide to leave their society for some quest or something like that, and then some other adults are going to like chase after them for a different quest, and
somebody has to give them a sword because it's dangerous to go alone.
That's how cryptic they were being on it, but that's what they said about it. So
now, do you think they try to pull off a reverse Marvel? Do you think they try to play the movies off the television series and then potentially do a season in between or something like that? Do you think they try to do a reverse Marvel?
They can't. There's been too big of a time jump on the show at this point.
Yeah. No, I don't think they do. But all my theories, if you listen to the reaction cast that we do for Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Malice Corp, just subscribe and follow the channel. You don't even have to subscribe if you don't want to, but we appreciate it when you do. But follow the channel and you'll know whenever we go live, so you can see whenever our reaction podcasts go live as well. But my theory about Michonne and learning about Rick and then going after her is pretty much now dead in the water, because she's explained this is her last season on the show. We've had 2 years back to back where Rick was crying on Andy Lincoln was crying on stage about leaving the show, and now Michonne Denai Guerrera doing the same thing this year and talking about how this will be her last season, that she's going to go focus on her writing, because that's what she started out as, was a playwright. And
she's, from what I've heard, a really talented playwright.
Yeah. So, all right.
And it's not like she really needs the acting stuff anyway. She's got Black Panther too.
Yep, she's doing that as well.
Or any other Marvel thing.
Next bit of news. Let's talk about some trailers. So first and foremost, Picard trailer.
Yes, I can talk about it. I'm going to talk about it.
Yes, talk about it.
Anytime that you see Picard in the winery or in a vineyard there, in his room with his dog, that was shot where I used to work. So this was probably 6 or 7 months ago, something like that. Whole company got put under an NDA, so I couldn't talk about it for a while. But then I don't work there anymore, so now I can talk about it. But it's a gorgeous winery. You should go check it out. They're eventually going to have Star Trek-related tours now that Picard is shooting there. It's Sunstone Winery in Santa Ynez Valley in Central Coast, California. Gorgeous place. But like, yeah, anytime you see like the front porch or he's standing on a balcony looking out over the vines, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been there a lot.
Or took my lunch break.
I think it's funny that there was an NDA on that, but like when they showed the building, the big white building, it's like, hey, that's the Anaheim Convention Center.
Yeah.
So
I actually got some Cleon blood somewhere in my house.
But I mean, what'd you guys think about the content of the trailer? Showing us some characters that we didn't know were going to be in the series. You got
crossovers.
Well, we don't know if it's Data. We have Brett Spiner there. They have not once said Data. We don't know if it's a different robot or So, and Brett Spiner came out on stage for the panel.
Well, we know for sure Data exists in this show because he's in a drawer. That's what Picard talks about it.
We saw a robot in the drawer again.
Yeah, that's
the Data sacrificed himself, and
yeah, it's heavily implied.
I'm waiting for him to slowly start getting Data's memories, like what was the third Star Trek where McCoy had Spock embedded in his head and started so I'm waiting for that to start happening.
Just wait for him to pick up a cat or sleep with Tasha Yar.
Well, so that was things that they didn't show in the trailer. They did specify as well, is that you will see number one again. He's going to be in it, and as well as Tasha. Not Tasha. Number one's wife now. They got married.
Marina Sirtis.
Yes.
Deanna Troi.
Deanna Troi, yes.
Yeah, but Tasha Yar's dead.
Yeah, well, not the different alternate versions of her that they kept bringing.
Yeah.
She needed acting roles. But they brought 7 of 9 is in this as well.
Which was from a different Star Trek series, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, but different timeline. Different, or not different.
No, I know, but it's interesting to see that. Like I'm sad in a way to see this come around, because my father was a huge Star Trek fan and he passed away 5 years ago, and he would be super excited to see this just because, me and the family, I know the Star Trek movies. I've seen all the Star Trek movies, and I've seen some Next Gen, but I haven't really seen any of the other series. But I do know some of the main characters, like say 7 of 9, and it was awesome to see her in that, because like I said, she's from a different timeline, a different series, and obviously they're going to have the Borg in there. So it was cool to see that. I look forward to picking it up, because I do like the Picard series. I do like Next Generation.
He was the best captain.
Well, I'm still a Captain Kirk fan because my dad was old school. Sorry, but
Picard was a better captain. He was better for morale. He didn't sleep with everything that crosses his path.
Because they didn't have a blue pill, I guess. I don't know, but anyways,
he had Earl Grey tea. That works.
At at this point, he probably needs it. He's looking older in this one, but
He is older.
it's gonna look. I think it looks great. I'm excited to see it. It's gonna be Picard knocking off the rust and getting back into a starship.
Yeah, and then the other thing that they announced for Star Trek is one of the new series that are being done. We were trying to figure out what it was Lower Decks, and they actually told us what it is. Lower Decks is an animated series about the people that make a starship run, and it is being done by one of the creators of Rick and Morty.
Justin Roiland or Dan Harmon?
No, a different one of the main animators. I think is Matt Miltner or something like that. I can't remember it. When the panel comes out, you can watch it and see.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you guys think? Star Trek animated, not the old '60s cartoon animated,
Off the Office style.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's going to be
Animated The Office, Star Trek. Yeah.
Here's the thing: the panel for the cartoon was moderated by the voice of the captain in the cartoon, which I can't remember the actor's name, but Sliders, main guy.
Jerry.
I mean
Jerry O'Connell, yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I was right.
Yeah, Jerry O'Connell's the voice of the captain in this cartoon, so that gives you an idea of how campy they're going with it. So
yeah, especially because I remember that television series he had where he was some kind of superhero or something like that. It'd be nice is if they could pull that off to where every week they kill off a red shirt like Kenny in South Park.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
That would be phenomenal.
I want them to have a little mini Stand By Me reunion and have Wesley Crusher in there too.
That would be awesome. Yeah, the funniest thing was like I had Trekkie fans behind me, and they were so pissed about the cartoon. They're just like, "That doesn't fall on there. Nobody would do cartoony joking of cartoons." Rick, and they were getting so angry.
Gene Roddenberry would be so pissed right now.
Shame on Star Trek fans, and this is why I'm saying it, because apparently I think Saturday was supposed to be Star Trek Day, and I didn't see but maybe 10 costumes out there the entire day. That was garbage. That was Star Trek not in the Force, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Nice cup, by the way. I've got that red version.
Hey, actually, yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a Black Widow cup.
Yeah, I've got the red version of that guy. Those things are 10 years old, you know that, right? Yeah. Or a little older.
All right, next trailer that we got. And boy, are they cryptic with this trailer. Westworld, what do you guys think?
Can't wait.
I watched some of it and I stopped because I started watching Westworld season 1 and then Game of Thrones took over and I haven't been able to
okay, yeah.
So I started watching a little bit of it, and from what I've seen from the first 5 episodes, I think, of the first season to kind of seeing just the first 30 seconds where it's talking about it. Yeah, I got to go back. That's one of the shows I got to binge.
Go binge that.
Yeah.
It's something that I've probably watched through that season or that series 4 or 5 times already, just those first 2 seasons, because I love it.
It's only 2 seasons, and you can get
through it.
Yeah, and if I could get through 6 seasons of Game of Thrones in 2.5 weeks, I could do that in a couple days. Shit.
Although at the end of it, you're gonna need to like Google some of the timeline stuff to figure out when different things happened, because it gets confusing.
Yeah, and the weird thing with this panel was they went really, really, really conspiracy theory in the panel. It was the weirdest thing. They had people on the panel going, so who uses Alexa and things like that, and had the people in there raise their hands and it's like, who has it on? And he's like, well, are you being recorded? And it was like, whoa, this is becoming a very odd, weird
Yeah, what are they talking about? Are they talking about the AIs that she brought out? Like the 3rd season looks like it's going to be pretty much centered for Dolores' part in the outside world, outside of Delos's island or playground or whatever. But for some reason, Maeve is going to be in the World War II world. So
yeah, we'll find out what's going on, because it's the same thing as season 2 trailer was very, very like, what's going on? And this is how season 3 is. So,
but season 2, we could at least figure out like, oh, it's going to be Shogun World. There were references to like the movies from the past. Now they're completely departing from all that.
Yeah. So,
but also Aaron Paul, looking forward to that.
That was the he came out on stage and that was his big thing, was that he's a huge fan of Westworld, so he was all about getting any type of role that he can in this series. So yeah, that's our little bit on that. The other news we got was the crossover for Arrowverse this year is going to be Crisis on Infinite Earths, and they're going all out with it because they're bringing back people to play people. Burt Ward's coming back to play Robin.
Is he playing Robin?
They said he's going to be in
Yeah,
Yeah.
playing Robin.
Oh.
So Burt Ward, who was the original Robin from '66. You've got Brandon Routh is going to don the Superman outfit again.
And that is, we talked about this a little before we started the record. I really want to see Brandon Routh Superman meet Brandon Routh the Atom. I don't care if they do that, you know, side by side on screen, or if they just shoot it back and forth. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because this is going to be the farewell season to Arrow as well, so they're going really big with the crossover event this year.
I think it's something they've got to do, only because remember, Arrow was the anchor, was the starting point of this whole Arrowverse. Obviously, the reason why they call it that. And when you're losing that piece, it's you got to fill it somehow. So, and it's weird. One of the things that I know we didn't put on here, but I think it kind of goes to say with this is that Batgirl was heavily advertised at Comic-Con. Like everywhere you went, there was a Batgirl something going on. You're off the coaster, you're seeing Batgirl and everything like that. However, her presence wasn't there for Comic-Con,
She had to film. And so, yeah, she didn't show up for the panel or for the Women Who Kick Ass panel because she had to film stuff.
Yeah. So, and there's an outside feeling when you well, at least when I've read some of the stuff, that there's mixed reviews on her Batgirl thing. So they got to do a bang like this, man, because I think that's the only way they're going to be able to continue getting success with the rest of the universe as they try to reimagine it without Arrow.
Yeah. Well, they're officially calling it Elseworlds, but it's Crisis on Infinite Earths is what it is.
Yeah. The Batgirl promotion thing feels a little too much to me. Like when they spend, you know, huge amounts of money on advertising, and then you end up like, that was okay. It feels disappointing, even if the show is decent. If it's not like a huge hit, it already feels like it's failing. And
our producer Jack will be extremely happy. Tom Cavanaugh is going to be playing a pivotal role of Pariah in this.
I agree with Pediopolis on the Twitch chat. Wish they would bring back Michael Rosenberg as Lex from Smallville.
Well, Rosenberg isn't coming back. Rosenbaum is coming back, but the Superman is going to make an appearance from
Welling.
Yeah,
nice. Welling's going to be in there too.
Yeah, Welling's going to make an appearance as a version of Superman. That's
the reason why I got to go back and binge and kind of get caught up to where I am, because it just seems like, from what I've seen, I can't remember if I'm up to the second joining of the shows or something like that, the crossovers, but it just seems like they do a good job of setting all these up. And I don't want to miss, or I don't want to just jump right into that. You know, I know Supergirl's got her new outfit now, no more skirt, and all these other changes. So it seems almost like I need to go back and finish and kick. I got too much binging in the next 3 weeks, man. Oh gosh.
If you're gonna binge Arrowverse, that's what I've been doing for the last month. Good luck to you, sir.
Send him that Chronicle.
In a month's time, I've gotten, I finished Constantine, but Arrow, I'm on season 5, I think. I'm on season 2 of Flash. I just finished season 1 of Supergirl. I'm 10 episodes into Legends of Tomorrow, and that's where I'm at. That's in a month.
I've got a head start on you though, because I've gotten through season 1 of Supergirl and the first 2 seasons of Legends and stuff. So I'm trying to.
You're all out of order then.
No, I went back and looked at the page on how you're supposed to binge it, and that's how I got up there. So
whatever. Okay. I gotta get back to my thing, because I think now all that's left for this last 12 minutes is the big baller drop of Comic-Con. Yeah, and that is Marvel Phase 4. They came huge at Comic-Con for Phase 4. They just dropped the next 2 years of what content is going to happen. Let me get into this so I don't.
And it's just the cool thing about it's just the content as far as names and who's the main movies. We don't know anything else past that, which is great. I am so happy they did it that way.
First, they started with the Eternals, and we got the cast that includes Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, Kamal Nanjiani, Lauren Ridloff, Brian Tyree Henry, Salma Hayek, Liam McHugh, and Don Lee, and they haven't started any type of filming.
Yeah, that is one hell of a good lineup, though.
Yeah.
But the big one after that, so this we knew it was coming. We've had titles that we had speculation rumors about and stuff like that. So the first rumor that got full confirmed was ShangChi and Legend of the Ten Rings. They showed us who's going to be playing ShangChi, which is a newcomer. He literally got cast 2 days before the panel. So he came out of the panel and he was
Well, that is one hell of a turnaround in your career.
yeah, exactly. Tony Leung will also be playing the Mandarin in this film.
You know what I thought was cool about that was two things. First of all, there was no spoiler because no one knew anything about it. Second of all, the reaction was pure.
Mhm.
I mean, I think one thing I really noticed about that was that it was like the first time they brought out the Avengers cast and how pure that was for the first Avengers movie. Like, holy crap, this is actually going to happen. And then you get to this kid that no one knows that now has just been, he's now like a Tom Holland. Like, no one knew Tom Holland before, a couple things before, and now he's Spider-Man for hopefully 9 more movies from what they keep talking about. So it's awesome to see that purity of like, holy crap, he just got thrown into a dream job.
Yeah. And
I'm available for casting if anybody needs.
one of the biggest crowd roars for the Shang-Chi entire portion was Awkwafina's going to be in it as well. She's popular.
She's funny-ish.
So, yeah. But the big thing that they did with that was they showed, the 10 rings, the Mandarin. That's what he's known for. And we've seen the 10 Rings logo before, but they showed how many films this logo has appeared. It even appeared in Ant-Man. And they're like, bet you didn't see it in that. And so everybody was like, oh, wow, okay. So they've really been setting this up for a while.
Yeah, if you Google Tony Leung right now, one of the top articles is Marvel's Shang-Chi villain has been hiding longer than Thanos.
Tony Leung's a great actor though too, so I'm glad that they're casting him as the man.
Agreed.
So.
Interested to see what they will, because it's part of the universe. So we've already seen a quote Mandarin.
Well, no, that Mandarin was a fake. They already made it be known that he was a fake.
No. Are we talking about?
They were both fake.
They were both. Okay, got it. All right, because I didn't see
neither
that
of them was actually the Mandarin.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Next thing that they announced after that was the Doctor Strange sequel.
Yes. That's the one I'm looking forward to out of all of them.
So, the big thing with this is
the multiverse of madness or something like that.
Yeah, but they're going horror theme with this is what they announced on stage. What do you guys think about that?
Two things. First of all, it's Disney starting to realize they need to loosen the F up because they don't want to mess up this franchise like they screwed up Star Wars. Which is awesome. Second of all, though, I like the fact that this is probably going to be able to introduce the thing that they've been trying to throw in the last couple movies is the fact, especially with Spider-Man, is that there is a multi-universe, is that there are different things, and there's so many things out there that people want to do that could potentially happen as far as bringing back movies, characters, or trying to interject different versions of them. I think that movie right there is going to make the Marvel cinema go from what it is right now, which is just a setup of a movie to holy crap, this could happen now, and just start interjecting stuff without even, it's going to be insane what they could do after that movie's done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is Into the Spider-Verse considered canon for MCU? No.
For MCU,
No, it's done by Sony.
Because that was really well done. In fact, my pointer's gonna be showing that out outside tomorrow. Yeah, I think Bandersnatch Cumberbund can pull off horror. That should be fun.
Well, okay, so this was some of the stuff that while they were interjecting these movies, they were showing us the Disney Plus stuff as well, because they've made it abundantly clear that the Disney Plus, if you don't watch it, you are missing out on stuff that's going on in the movies. So Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch features heavily into Doctor Strange 2, and you don't know why she's there unless you've watched WandaVision.
I
Which is
will
awesome.
then.
So, and that Feige said that on stage. Like you have no idea why she's there unless you've already watched the WandaVision.
Which side note, good news to people who have Hulu. You'll be able to get that on Hulu, Disney Plus.
Yeah, there's going to be an add-on for that, which thank God, because I mean, they're already going to get our $6 from me, but I'll pay the $3 extra little add-on type of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's with your Disney Plus stuff, and that's the other thing that they were saying with it. It wasn't like this is season 1 of this television show. They were calling them special events, so like they're mini series. So they're not going to be continuing to do. So
it's like an anthology.
Yeah, they announced. So they talked about the Falcon Winter Soldier, and the cool thing with that one was while that panel was going on, they had an interruption of video. And it's Brule who played the villain in Avengers Age of Ultron. He was the
scientist.
No, not Age of Ultron. He was in this.
I was going to say the villain there was James Spader.
No, Civil War. The one that made it so that they all started fighting against each other.
Yeah.
He's Baron.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Wrong person.
So he comes in talking on the film, so he's still alive because they left him alive because the Black Panther didn't kill him when he was going to. They talked him out of it. So you see Baron Zemo put the mask on for the first time in this little video cut. He puts on the purple mask, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Loki is. They explained that the Loki series, has not had the Loki we know where he got back having a good relationship with his brother.
No, this is 2012 Avengers 1 Loki.
So that's exactly what it's going to be. And he's just Loki bouncing through time and different things and appearing
just
different.
Being a dick everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So that one.
At one point, he makes this really cool mask and gives it to Jim Carrey. This amazing game that you play with dice and stuff, but it actually sends you to a jungle. Yeah, it's gonna be nuts.
That one's going to be amazing. The other television special event is they did announce a Hawkeye, and that you will have the female archer.
His daughter?
No, Kate. Can't remember her name. People are yelling at me right now. No.
Oh.
I'll have to look it up. Drop it in the comments below. Let us know the name, because you're going to yell at me and be angry. But yeah, he's getting his own special event series as well. And then they talked about the What If series, and they're going to be bringing voice cast back to re-voice this cartoon. And the voice of the Watcher is going to be voiced by the African American actor from Westworld, the main.
If you're right, yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to be voicing
Bernard,
yes. So he'll be voicing the Watcher for all these cartoons. So that one I think is one that'll just continue going, because What If you can continue going forever because it's animated.
Yeah.
So I think you'll get some different seasons of that. But after they announced Doctor Strange, the next movie they announced was Thor 4.
Yeah, it's Thor, like Love and
Thunder. And they brought up the factor that they are doing the female Thor, and they couldn't think of anybody else to do it but Natalie Portman, and she's coming back.
So as Jane?
Yes, as Jane Foster.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Now the only thing, here's the only thing. I think Natalie just needs to take some time and hit the weights.
Yeah, and Pete says, "What If sounds awesome, but be like a Marvel Twilight Zone." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
I think what's also awesome about Love and Thunder, though, is that how we talked about it, I think last week or something, is that I can't say his name, or I can't think of his name, but the guy who did who directed the third movie, Ragnarok, is going to be directing this.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, I think he saved that franchise. The Thor part.
Of course he did, because Natalie wrote this. She did not want anything to do with Marvel anymore. So when she came out on stage, that was huge, because she was done. The scenes that you see of her in Endgame, that's all cutting room floor footage that they got to be able to put that together, because she didn't even come back to film that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's saying a lot considering she did the first 3 or episodes 1 through 3.
I think it's because of Taika. I think because Hemsworth was the same way. Hemsworth was like, after Dark World, he basically said, once my contract's up, I'm done playing this character. I want to move on to different projects and do different things. And ever since Thor 3, he has been 100% locked in to this character, not wanting to leave it, wanting to play it for as long as they'll let him. And I think it really was the factor of, hey, Taika's going to direct this, and Chris probably talking to Natalie and going, he's way too much fun to work with, and he'll do you right character-wise. Come do it.
I still think one of the best fight scenes in all the Marvel movies is that fight on the Rainbow Bridge, where he busts out the freaking immigrant song and he's just going lightning everywhere. That has got to be one of the best fight scenes I've seen in a lot of the Marvel movies, just because it's just not the scene itself, but you've got multiple things going on. You got Hulk coming in, you got freaking Valkyrie, the song, Thor. I mean, everything about it is just flipping awesome, and that's why I'm looking forward to this. I just like I said, I hope she puts on a couple pounds.
You could just tell that Taika's take on it was going to change the whole thing, just from the first trailer for Ragnarok, where you see the big stadium and you see that Thor's got a haircut, and then Hulk comes in, he's like, "Oh, I know him from work." You're like,
He's one of my coworkers.
Okay, this is different. This is going to be fun.
And I'm not a huge fan of Ragnarok. I really am not, but because it was such a complete
comedy
change. No, it was just a complete reversal, 100% on the character, and I was like, it didn't make sense. It just was like, okay, we're just gonna do it this way. And on its own, fantastic, love the movie. But when you watch it in that vein, it just doesn't fit right to me.
Oh, I think it does a great job of fitting in, because Dark World was horrible. Like it went too dark.
It was painful.
And Thor, especially that character, you could see even from the first movie alone, you could see the comedic part of Thor. Throwing the glass down, the mug down, everything like that. Ragnarok was just a solid implant. I mean, it starts right from the beginning as far as how he's talking to the freaking skeleton and stuff like that. I mean, I think it's great.
And having binged through, the entire 22 movies before Endgame came out, Ragnarok actually does fit pretty well in that flow. Like, if you're just watching the Thor movies, yeah, you're right, it totally doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching it through the whole MCU process, it works pretty well.
Yeah, it fits in with Guardians of the Galaxy, which, spoiler alert, that's probably going to be tying into that too.
Rabbit.
So,
yeah,
sure, you're the leader. Yeah.
Like a sexy pirate god.
Yeah, it's your crew. Yeah.
And the last movie that was announced that will be the first movie that's starting off Phase 4 is Black Widow. And we've got Florence Pugh is playing Yelena, which is Natasha's sister. And David Harbour is playing the Russian, the Red Russian, something like that.
Yeah.
It's basically
That's what really happened at the end of this last season. He went over there to train Black Widow.
And then Rachel Weisz is in this as well, which is kind of cool. It was her first time at Comic-Con. So, but they showed us footage of that, and they showed us Taskmaster, and Taskmaster looks amazing.
I'm excited for that.
Marvel came with a solid freaking uppercut, man.
Okay, so the biggest one, the surprise that happened at the end. So the way they closed out the panel is Kevin Feige's up there, and he's like, we've shown you all this stuff. We've shown you the next 2 years of Phase 4 right now. And we didn't even talk about Black Panther 2. We didn't even talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We didn't even talk about the Fantastic Four. We didn't even talk about the mutants.
I think the biggest pop out of everything. The minute they said Fantastic Four,
man, that huge pop.
Yeah.
So much so that people didn't hear the rest of the phrase on that, because he was like, we didn't talk about the mutants, but it got such a huge pop that they didn't hear him. He said, and those are all rumors, which they're gonna do the films. They just, they're not specifying when or everything. But he said those are all rumors. He's like, and here's one that's not a rumor. And they brought Mahershala Ali out on stage.
Oh yeah, Mahershala
Ali came out on stage, and they just introduced him on stage. He walks out and everybody's wearing these Black Widow hats. And he goes, "Don't you have a hat of your own?" And so he pulls out a hat and he puts it on and it says Blade on the hat. So Mahershala Ali is going to be playing Blade. And that's huge for one factor. One, what do you guys think about him as Blade?
I love it. It's going to be weird not seeing Wesley Snipes, but like if anybody can pick up that role, that's the guy.
I'm gonna hold judgment right now. He's a great actor, and I think he could definitely pull the acting side of it. I think the fighting stuff, I don't know. Wesley Snipes came with all the accessories.
Well, according to an interview I saw with Feige, Ali called Feige and said that I want to play Blade. It wasn't, they didn't reach out to him. And they said when they say Mahershala Ali's on the phone for you, you answer that phone call with how popular he is now with the Academy Awards.
Oscar win.
Yeah. So it was him calling and saying, I want to play him. Where it's a bigger news aspect, this is before the MCU that Blade came out. Blade was not part of MCU. Blade is was a Fox property. This is the first official Fox property coming into the MCU.
Nice.
Outside of Deadpool, but then they still said that that's going to be its own thing. This is the first thing getting merged into the MCU from the acquisition. That's huge, and the fact that nobody touched on that, I thought was kind of astounding.
Yeah, and from what I was seeing and what I think they're probably starting to lead up to is that Phase 5, even potentially going into the later part of Phase 4, we could see Dark Avengers because Blade is an integral part of that, if I remember right. So I mean, but like I said, I'm gonna hold judgment right now. Like I said, the acting aspect of it, I'm not concerned with. It's the actual, can he pull it off, or are they gonna need a freaking stunt double to do his stuff? I don't know. I did read though as the week went on, I think Wesley Snipes did a eloquent letter out there saying, hey, kudos and stuff. He didn't take it hard or anything, but at the same time though, there was some other stuff I read saying there might be a possibility they get him in there somehow in the movie. Not as Blade, obviously, but somehow. So that would be nice if they
Well, if Wesley Snipes gets in there, then I want Stephen Dorff and Donald Logue, too.
Chris Christopherson.
We're going to be naughty, man. We're going to be naughty vampire gods.
That's the sum of the big stuff from San Diego Comic-Con until next year. So, yeah, there's a lot of huge news. They came out.
He was born in 74. He's not that old.
Who?
Mahershala Ali.
He's not.
I'm not. There's no age thing with it whatsoever. I've seen him fight in Luke Cage, but that was like boxing kind of stuff. I mean, we're talking full-on martial arts. I mean, that's
right. He's going to be another person that has multiple roles in the MCU now, huh?
Yeah. If they decide to bring Luke Cage into it, I don't know. But like I was saying earlier, man, I didn't expect Marvel to come out so hard. That like seriously, that was an uppercut. That was a Mike Tyson knockout right there, where they came.
I mean, I feel like they did that a couple years ago too, like when they were announcing Phase 3. Like they basically announced a couple years worth of huge profile stuff all at once.
It did seem like they announced everything though, and here they're laying out
everything. This is just the next 2 years. They don't think the entire Phase 4.
Yeah. They're introducing new stuff, which wasn't happening through Phase 3, other than Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think they were already kind of like in there at the end of Phase 2 or something. So you've got new characters going in. You've got new concepts going in with the Disney Plus shows and stuff. Man, it's almost like they're trying to put the death touch to DC.
They had to come massive with this panel because they weren't there last year, and Feige's whole thing was, we're not going to do a panel unless we have something to show and something that's big. And that's why they came back swinging with this one, because he kept saying, we can't talk about it until Endgame. But when Endgame's over, we're gonna show you guys what's brewing. And that may be part of the reason that Warner Brothers pulled out this year and didn't do a panel. A lot of people were speculating the reason that Warner Brothers pulled out and didn't do a panel this year is that AT&T doesn't know how to run a movie studio, that they're running everything like it's a corporation, and it's hurting the movie studio side of things right now, and they're still trying to figure that out. So who knows? Hopefully Warner Brothers is back there next year with Marvel on Saturday, because that's a powerhouse day when you have both of those studios in there.
Absolutely.
And hopefully I have tickets. So
Hey, Pete throws down there really quick. Hope Ryan Reynolds shows up in Blade.
that would be funny. That would actually be kind of funny if Deadpool
Takes care of him like the first.
Oh,
second.
no.
Just
Not even-
This is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, just
character.
as Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
yeah.
Just comes in right at the beginning, the first 2 minutes of the movie, gets his head chopped off or something done.
Just
Move on.
playing himself as walking around with Blake Lively.
But that's our cast this week. We'll be back onto the normal format, which will be the nerd news headlines next week. We're finishing up right now. Literally finishing up.
3 more minutes, Mom.
Just
So,
5 more minutes, Mom. 5 more.
with that, let's talk about where you guys can follow us if you want to chit chat with us outside of this podcast. I see Zorro. Where can people follow you when they're not sitting here talking nerd with you?
At ICZora on Twitter, Instagram, and PlayStation Network.
What about you, Masonic Vader?
Masonic Vader on Twitter and Instagram. Masonic Vader 71 on the PlayStation Network.
And if you want to follow all the fine geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados that are part of the Malice Corp network, make sure to head over to malice-corp.com or hit us up on Facebook at All Things Nerd Podcast. It's a group. Just look it up, All Things Nerd Podcast on Facebook. You can also follow this cast on Twitter at All Nerd Podcast, or follow everybody at Malice Corp on Twitter. You can follow me. That would be Mess5150 on Twitter at Mess_Malice Corp, or on Instagram at Mess5150. Check out this podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts: Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, anywhere and everywhere. If you're listening to it, drop a subscription. Well, subscribe, rather. And make sure to like and comment. And thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you guys for coming back and being a part of the show. You keep nerding on, and we'll see you next week.
See you later.
Carry on.